So I'm so happy that today, we're doing this with a friend whom I have admired in the industry for quite some time. So yeah, we have Yash Sharma with us. He has been active in the DevRel space for quite some time, and not just that. So he's created a whole community of blockchain enthusiasts for Figment from scratch. So I'm not going to give any any more spoilers. Yash, I'm just going to give it to you. And yeah, tell us more about who you are and what's your story.
So hey everyone, I'm Yash and I'm Developer Relations Lead at Pigment and working in community space from past 2 years. I started with volunteering into the different communities, especially technical communities, including Facebook Developer Circle, CDG, like in attending the events, volunteering there, and then moving to the Skip Foundation, and then Zubi, and then here I'm at Pigment. So that's how it goes, step by step. But looking forward to more questions from you because I started with volunteering and then I'm leading developer relations. So there are a lot of things happen in this space. There are a lot of things changed in those last 2 years. A lot of new things introduced, especially in the Indian community. So that's definitely a great thing to discuss over here, like Indian technical communities and all.
Yash, something that I'm really interested to know is what was that one moment where you felt that, hey, this is one industry that I just want to be a part of, and looking back now.
Okay, first thing, right? What I believe, I'm not sure it happens with every person or not, those who are in the community. But when you start being in the community, right? So all the people, those who are leading the community, developer relations, you start when you see them, you start feeling like, hey, this is so cool job, meeting new people, moving here and there, chatting with new people, hosting hackathons and mentoring others and checking out new products and all. So that's cool. But that's actually inspired me. In 2018, I went to US. If you don't know, I was also selected for the Rajasthan Student Startup Exposure Program along with a team of 78 other students. It was 100, but 78 went to the US. Some of the other places I can see in the chat section, Jagrati and all. So thank you for joining us. So yeah, I went US. In US, I met Uttam Kumar Tripathi. He is the head of developer relations at Google, right? And that time, it was the first time when I get to know about DevRel in so much detail, right? I got about his position, and then I dig deeper into it, like what he do, how it's happening, what about this space, how communities works and all. I went back to India, and then I started volunteering in different communities like Facebook Developer Circles and all, which I mentioned. And step by step, here I am. So that's how it started. So that my US trip was a one point where I felt like, hey, I want to get in there because I want to meet new people. I want to contribute in the community, and I want to help developers because I get to know I'm not the one who can sit behind the computer for a 9 to 5 and just do a code. I'm not like that person. I don't want to leave a tech. I don't want to leave the code side, but I also don't want to be behind the computer, just code and all. So I like what else I can do, and that's the community, and that's the dev where I am.
Yash, something that we are interested to know is yesterday we were discussing that as a DevRel person, sometimes you are the one-man army building the whole community, doing all the developer experience, developer marketing, all the work. So can you tell us more about the work that you do at Figment? You don't have to go into stuff that's NDA, but just a generalized view so that people who are watching, they know that okay, this is what comes for someone who wants to build dev communities for a brand.
Right. So when we talk about the DevRel work specifically, so first thing it's a disclaimer just for your notice, those who are watching, that DevRel position and their responsibilities actually changes organization by organization. So if you are working for a cloud organization, or if you are working for an API-based or service-based or platform-based organization, so your responsibilities sometimes differ. Maybe sometimes you act as the education person over there, those who want to build a content for developers. Sometimes you work on something else, right? So responsibilities changes every time. And in my case, I do a couple of things because when you are in a DevRel, it doesn't matter in whatever organization you are, right? Your role actually relies with different teams: marketing, development, product, and community, right? So community is the first thing where your most of the time goes on. Second comes the dev team, the product team, and marketing team. So these comes after the community things, right? Because your most of the work, like whatever you are building, it goes along with marketing things, like how to market all the things which is happening in the industry, like hackathons, workshops, and all. Then another thing goes is that we discuss is developer experience, right? So when you are a DevRel, you are the face of the company, you are the face of the community, you are the face in the community, right? So just I would say you just act like a bridge between the community to company and company to community. Okay, so what community says, you deliver it to the company that, hey, this is something which our developers want, we should implement this feature. And at that time you work slightly as a product manager, that hey, this is something which we really want, right? We should prioritize it. And at the next moment, so you act as a marketing team. Hey, this is something which we want to publish on Twitter, on some blogs, and on LinkedIn. Hey, this is the guy from community who's doing a really good job. Let's feature him, right? Or let's feature her, like that. So that's how it goes. And in my case, I work with marketing team, product team, dev team, community team, all the same time. Most of the time, marketing and community. Second comes the product and the dev team.
Because you created the community for Figment from scratch. What do you think should be some of the main goals of a community builder when they're just setting up their community or during their initial days?
Okay, so for the OKRs and KPIs, they actually differ from quarter to quarter or year by year. So when you are in the initial stage of your community, that's the most experimental, and that's the most experimental and the most what I call like challenging time. Like you have to build, right? Sangeeta have a better experience than me because she is leading a community of different people at LikeMinds as well as at CFK. So she knows different people from different things. I know more from DevRel, but Sangeeta know DevRel and everything. So you can put more insights on it. But yeah, OKRs and KPIs. So first thing is like when you are building from scratch, your OKRs and KPIs more around bringing new members in the community, right? Like what is the rate of growth in the community? Then second comes the engagement. Like if there are 1,000 members, then how many of them are speaking to each other? How many of them are helping each other? Third comes is like user generated content. So when you are leading a dev community, right? So it comes like, okay, your developers are building the product for your customers, but those developers are the actual customers, and they are those who actually interact with that specific product more than our devs or more than me or more than our product manager, right? And time to time they come with new suggestions, new feedback, and that comes from the community. So that also comes in the OKRs, like how many feedback we are getting from the community, like how much we are improving the developer experience. So also it comes like when you work with different organizations, just like when I work with different organizations, right? Just like different blockchain companies. So time to time I have to chat with other DevRels of those companies, like what's going in the ecosystem, how we can improve it. So that also comes under OKR, things like what we are chatting and how we are improving the developer experience by interacting with them, right? And what's the engagement, what's the growth, how many weekly active users, daily active users in your community, how many developers are building the content, tutorials every month, every week, right? So that comes that way initially, and then day by day it goes like how many workshops you are hosting, how many events you are hosting. Then another things comes up like you start growing your team, then different things like newsletter subscriptions, like you start sending developer newsletter. Then also comes under the OKRs and KPIs. Then you start setting up a forum, right? So that also comes under the OKRs and KPIs, that how many people are love your content on forum, how many people are actually coming to it back to back, and what are the page views coming up on your forums, your developer content. So yeah, different things, different. But initially, that's the user growth: weekly active user, daily active users, user generated, developer generated content, I say, and the that are the major things. But building a community, it comes with different things. You have to read about your audience persona and their demographics and all that. The another thing. But for the OKRs KPIs, that's it.
Yash, moving on. This is not a community question per se, but this is more on the personal side of things. So, how do you think that community has sort of contributed to your personal branding? Because I know whenever I open Instagram or LinkedIn, I see that there's some post that Yash is tagged in, and for that matter, that happens for many community builders. So, yes, tell us about it.
Definitely. It's not just about you actually. As I said, like when you are in a community, you are the face of the company, right? So people start knowing you, knowing the company. Sometimes people know the company because of you, because you are very active in the community. Okay, you are active in Discord servers, you are active on Twitter, and you are. It doesn't matter what you are doing over there. Most time, like you are just doing random stuff, but somehow you are involving a tag into it. Okay, so build personal branding is definitely necessary, and in my case, especially in DevRel area, I would say most of the things happens from the personal branding and from the referrals, like your connection. Most of the DevRel things doesn't come up in the market itself. They just get filled up, like most of the jobs or vacancies, they just get filled up initially, just their employees or just by their connections or something like that. So that's why it's done, because personal branding, because you are publishing blogs, you are just doing random stuff on Twitter. Okay, you are chatting with different people out there, sharing your thoughts around the tag, and you are just in different Discord servers on different forums and chatting on Quora, or I would say Stack Overflow. You're on different places and you are just helping out developers. So that's actually build your profile. That makes sense that, okay, you are actually really want to help developers, right? And yeah, so it definitely helped me a lot in my case. And wherever I am, it's just because of my connections, I would say.
Yash, coming back, here's the final question of the day that I have for you. Is the story behind this question is that my family members keep telling me that, every time I hear you on a call, I just hear you say this word community like so many times, and I know that you're on a work call. So I just want to know, how many times in a day, on average, do you think you use the word community?
I never counted it actually, but yeah, I know because in my family as well, along with my sister, my parents, when I started saying community, they used to be like, okay, first thing when I started being into the community thing, right? They be like, what is community? It's not about being developing softwares, because you did computer software engineering, you were from CSE. And I started telling them, oh, it's not about like that. It's a bit of different. But instead of building that websites or building those softwares, I'm gonna help the people, those who wanna build it, right? And they're like, okay, cool, do whatever you want to. And then they started exploring the community thing with me. And now I say I use community thing 10 to 15 times, like while chatting with my teammates, while chatting with my colleagues, my sister, my parents, and they'll be like, what are you doing? Nothing, community event. And they're like, event, like community event. And the most funniest thing happened in this quarter, that is like just last month, September. My mom knows that what my OKRs for the community, like how many members I targeted for the Q3, and she asked me at the end of the Q3 that, hey, how many members you have in your community? And I'm like, oh, you remember? That, I remember you had a target of this, you achieved it? I'm like, oh yes, it's in plus.
It is not.
Like, oh yeah, that's great.
So that happened for us as well, actually. Like this month, and I'm not sure. Yeah, I think we can talk about it. So this month and this quarter and last quarter, what happened was we sort of achieved our quarters, OKRs, and this month the community team kind of over achieved our OKRs. So I think I can relate on that part.
That's the most happiest thing you can feel at the end of the quarter.
True, very true. Thanks everyone for watching. Thanks Yash for doing this. Really, really glad to know that you did your first Instagram live with us, and also the fact that we could talk about your journey. I've always admired your work, and glad that we could talk it on this platform. So yeah, thanks everyone. Bye bye. See you. Have a great weekend.
Thank you guys. Thanks for having me. LikeMinds, CFK, Sangeeta, everyone thanks for tuning in. So if you have any questions, feel free to drop it to Sangeeta, to me, and happy to answer it. Like wherever you are. So happy to answer. Thank you so much for joining us. Have a good day, guys.